A year ago this week, we weren't. No one could have prepared for that.
It was just literally an overnight thing.
You could tell that things were starting to happen and that people were starting to get nervous. But I had no idea that within 24 hours I'd be sitting in a conference room downstairs with our senior leadership team talking about the fact that we knew the governor was about to close the schools, that all of the kids were going to be sent home, and that we knew that within a really short period of time we were going to have to create an entire new method.
We recognized immediately that we had to do something quickly. And we started. We worked with our partners. We started calling the schools. We looked at our inventory. We decided what we could put into boxes. We thought about ways to get the food out to everyone. We did what we knew we were supposed to do.
Because many of our pantries had to close or had severely cut back their hours, we knew we had to jump into action to serve people. And we did that through establishing mobile distributions, which meant we became, the Arkansas Foodbank staff became a place where we had to pack and package a lot of emergency boxes and prepare for these wide, massive mobile distributions.
For me, I remember thinking, this is what we're doing right now in the moment. There never felt like there was time to even think about what could happen 2 months from now, 6 months from now.
Last year, March, we looked at this like a fairly short-term event, and that we would be called upon to respond, and had no idea it was going to last so long. In most disaster responses, the threat is over by the time you start responding. And I think with COVID, one of the things that was different is that it continued to grow. I mean, the concern continued to grow as we responded to as well.
The other thing I kind of remember is everybody having to join in and do pretty much everything.
I was able to serve my community alongside all of these incredible people that I get to work with every day, but we had never seen this side of each other before.
It was absolutely phenomenal. Our staff stayed and packed boxes till 8 or 9 o'clock at night. They came in at 5 and 6 in the morning to do things. It took everybody playing a different role, a new role, an expanded role, whatever it was that they did, to make it happen. Our donors were over the top because it was real. It was very, very real. Hearing people talk about their job loss, hearing people talk about their needs to just put food in their refrigerator, really gave me that oomph to go back, pack some more boxes, and do it again.
As a service organization, you're proud to distribute the food that you were able to distribute last year. And we're proud of that fact, to be able to provide that resources. When we talk about that, though, it comes at there's an expense to that. And the people that we serve need that food. So it's a bittersweet milestone to be able to distribute what we distributed last year. It really seemed like everybody was on the same page about trying to meet the need that arose.
Something that will always stick with me through, our COVID response and getting to see how we were able to serve our community was the generosity of Arkansans, but also how appreciative people that were in need during this time were for us to be a resource for them when they needed it the most. I was able to volunteer at a lot of mobile distributions over 2020, and I remember specifically at a distribution in Cabot, we had a minivan pull up, which speaks a lot to me. I'm a mom of 3 kids and I drive a minivan. And when we opened that sliding door and put 2 gallons of milk in the car, we heard kids saying, "Mom, we get milk, we get milk." And the mom with tears in her eyes said, this is the first time that they've had milk in 3 months. And I will never forget that, because I'm a mother and I cannot imagine what it would feel like to not be able to give my kids the food that they need.
There are so many stories, because we knew we only had maybe about food for 800 plus families, and we were certain probably about 1,500 families showed up. When people ask me about my job and what's the there are great days when you can work with a community like the city of Pangburn, and we got a chance to work with their mayor, and we're able to send food to that community, and they box it and they provide it to seniors, and that's a good day. But some of the most challenging days are when you have to turn people away.
I think probably one of the hardest stories I have is the one where we weren't able to give food to someone. It makes you realize how much that food box means. But I had one mom at the end of a distribution that pulled up, and we had given out all the food we had. There was not a drop left. And she started crying and said, I just don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any food. That's that moment when it really, really hits you that how real this is and how much that box of food provides for someone. When you say it provides hope, it does.
Part of our DNA now is going to be figuring out year to year how we can reach people who've never been reached and do it more effectively and do it more efficiently. I just think that's something that's been built into us through our experience of the past year.
It's a perfect picture of a time when your community, your government, and even those who are in need all came together to do whatever they had to do to help each other.
I'm proud. It seemed like everybody at every point in the people that we work with tried to think creatively and tried to meet the needs last year. So I'm very proud of that. And I see it across a broad spectrum, not only our teams, which I'm extremely proud of, but donors, Feeding America, you know, the government commodities that we've had, our agencies, the support that they have.
We are here and we're committed, and we feel like we now have the resources and the abilities that we need to serve those families for however long their need exists.
I know it's not quite over, but I think it is so cool that 1 year later, our staff number is called that says you can go get vaccinated. I just think that's just a perfect gift to all of us, to all of the people who have served for so long in grocery stores and restaurants, and to be able to now go and get immunized a year after all of this started here in Arkansas. And that I see the hope in our employees' eyes that the next time maybe I do a distribution, I can give that person a hug